Meanwhile, it's beautiful today,
Oh,
and hopefully everybody's having a beautiful day, because why
gorgeous.
not? Just put that in your mindset, and you'll have a great day.
Suki,
Really.
gorgeous day here in the New York area. The only thing is, see, here's the thing, and I'll tell you when we really start the show, but I think the leaves in my gutter are causing some silverfish to be in my bed. So
I can't handle it. The two.
Yeah.
And P.S. By the way, everybody, the two of us are recovering.
Yeah. So this is going to be a coughing episode of the Suki and Scott show.
I called up Scott on Sunday and I said, "You'll never guess. I just caught this bug, but it's like, I don't know if you've read that this year there might be a trifecta because of everything that's going on.
Yes.
Not only do we have the flu, COVID, but there's also this RSV thing.
Yes, and syphilis too. So.
That's another story for you. Hey now. But the two of us end up catching this cold, probably from our kids, and everybody can relate to that. And all of a sudden it travels to our lungs, and the two of us are hacking as we're talking to each other, hacking. It's just awful.
Anyway, so listen,
I don't know if anybody's been there before, but just
we have a fantastic show today. I'll tell you more about the bugs when we officially start.
Yes, sir.
Ramon Hervey II is coming on. Suk, you talk about a career and a life. Ramon has seen and done it all. He's got a new book out, The Fame Game. We're going to talk about that. And he has been one of those guys where he's been he manages these superstar careers.
I mean, Smokey, goes on and on. From Motown.
Through thick and through thin, Suk. Yeah, when they're in the bad times and the good times.
It really is a playbook on Fame, actually.
He was also he was married at one point to Vanessa Williams, a good friend of our show.
Yeah, she was very kind.
Yep. And last time she was on, I remember you asked Vanessa about, when she went through that whole resignation and so on and so forth. And Ramon was right there by her side.
He crafted it
at that huge press conference. Yeah, and they ended up falling in love and getting married, have 3 beautiful kids.
God bless
and then
them.
A little later on, Presley Tennant's coming up. She was on season 16 of The Voice. She's
what a talent.
20 years old, Suk. She's got an insane voice, and we have got a phenomenal show today while everybody starts to load up. And let's rock and roll. You ready to start?
I'm always ready, Scott. Let's do it.
Here we go, baby. And we start the show in 3, 2, and 1.
The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
Suki and Scott. That's 7 of Hearts.
Woo!
Exactly.
What she said.
This is a sexy show.
Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey as they bring you the Suki and Scott Show.
You guys nailed it. You're great. You ask great questions. You listen.
I answered you because I have respect for you guys, and it was a question respectfully put.
The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor.
You like De Niro and Cape Fear. Counselor!
Entertainment.
Jesse's girl!
Wonderful.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
And optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Ultraviolet light, it gets in there and it just fights the Kung Flu, is that right? Okay.
Let's laugh together.
I love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
That's the best intro for a show I maybe have ever seen.
Really?
Your intro is fantastic.
Suk, if you listen carefully, you hear that sound?
It's the echo of what?
No. Kanye West just lost another sponsor.
That is just a train wreck.
So what was so funny about this?
How about just be quiet for a little?
What makes me laugh about that is just that, because listen, nothing anybody says ever offends me. Okay. Even as a Jewish guy, his anti-Semitic stuff, nothing offends me that anybody does. The entertaining part for me is when he was on the other day saying, Adidas can't drop me. Adidas can't.
Basically
2 days later,
yeah.
Kanye dropped by Adidas. And it's just, just the entertaining, like just goofball part of it all. And just stuff, Doesn't have to happen, but he brought it on himself. Really.
No, definitely. But here's the thing: he's a sick man, right? Like he really is. He's, his mental illness and his challenges with his own emotional well-being is well documented, right? And it kind of feels like, and I not to give him any allowance in his bad behavior and forgive him or anything like that, but we need to have some. I wish somebody that loved him would just help him. I mean, really, just
we gotta
help
ask,
get help.
Ask Ramon about that, how he would handle that if Kanye was his client, today or back in the
That's
day.
a great one. Yeah. I'm sure Ramon has to managing that 15 minutes of fame that imploded on him.
Ramon Hervey II coming up in just a few minutes. Of course, legendary manager, publicist to so many superstars.
Oh my God, the superstars are endless. Can I just name some of his clients?
Go ahead, Suki. Light up, but name them up, Suki.
No. When he first started his his company, when he was repping, Little Richard was his first client. I mean, I just think that's crazy. But Little Richard, Bette Midler, Quincy Jones, Richard Pryor, Babyface, the Bee Gees, Vanessa Williams, Aaliyah, Rick James.
She's a very kinky girl.
Paul McCartney. I mean, Peter Frampton.
Don't take home to mother.
Daryl Hall and John Oates, just to name a few. Herb Albert.
She's a rich girl.
I mean, it just goes
too far.
I mean, where do you go? I mean, what a luscious, beautiful career, crafting and being, basically in the war room with all of these people.
Here's the thing, Ramon's been on Facebook for a long time now, and I had to go through an hour's worth of photos to find all the good ones of him. But man, oh man, you wait till you see some of the shots I have with Muhammad Ali and Rick James and just some great stuff. Like I said, what an insane career. He's coming up in just a second. Presley Tennant.
And he's got his book out. That's what we're going to be talking about.
He's got this new book out right here. I'll show it to you. It's called The Fame Game, an insider's playbook for earning your 15 minutes. And the key there, Suki, is earning your 15 minutes. That's the key. That's what I like to talk about. So, listen, after he sees us together, he may beg and plead to take us on.
I don't know.
As clients, Suki. You got to pretend.
You might be guessing why the hell he's wasting an afternoon with us right now, waiting for us to go on.
Well, Suki, listen, he's got the book out, and we're on all these places.
We're seminal talents.
Suk, look at all these places we're on. I mean, this is millions of viewers around the world, for goodness sake.
Speaking of earning, we are earning our right.
We've been earning. My goodness, Suk. We've been earning. Our 15 minutes lasted a little longer. Suki, anyway, before we bring Ramon on, I travel the world a lot. I travel the country. I come up with all these crazy signs I like to take pictures of. Well, I found a couple I just wanted to run by you before we bring him on.
Sure do.
I just want to get your thoughts on them because I thought they're very interesting. So, for example, I saw this one. It says, touching wires causes instant death. $200 fine. I thought that one was pretty interesting. I didn't touch the wires because I didn't want to pay the fine.
Because I didn't want to die.
Yeah. Here's another one. Don't let worries kill you. Let the church help. I know what they're trying to say, but it just didn't come across.
Not correct.
Yeah, no, it just didn't. And then I saw this one: drunken people crossing. Suki.
That has to be in Florida somewhere. I'm looking at the palm trees. Key West. Is that Key West?
It's got to be somewhere down.
It's got to be somewhere in Florida.
Then I saw this one along the way: dumb woman's lane. I was gonna walk up, but I didn't want to insult anybody. And then there was this one, Suk. Is that a dinosaur crossing sign?
I have no idea what that means. Don't.
What the hell is that? Is that a Barney crossing?
Extinct? I don't know. You'll become extinct in some way. Like, I don't know.
Suk, listen, just remember
don't let worries kill you. Let the church help.
The church will help. But all right, Suk, listen, Ramon is a very busy man. I don't want to keep him waiting.
Don't.
Ramon Hervey II is coming up. And as you mentioned, he has dealt with so many different superstars and molded and guided the careers of these people for 4 decades already. So here's a little bit of Ramon, and then we'll bring him in on the other side. Take a look.
amazing.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Ramon, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. Thank you for that nice intro. I don't see all those pictures that often, so
Ramon,
nice to go
listen.
back down memory lane. You guys are funny too. Your intro, I love your intro. Great intro.
Let's get right to it. Who was the biggest pain in the ass you ever dealt with? Right off the bat.
Well, you don't mess around, huh? Right to the gusto. The biggest, I don't know. Probably Rick James.
Rick James, huh? I could imagine. You know,
but very talented. One of the most talented artists that I ever worked with. But
Creative.
we did have an MF conversations many times back and forth. So he was very challenging, but we accomplished. I got a chance to work with him at the height of his career when the Street Songs album came out, and
wow,
we had some fun times.
I'm sure you did. I mean, his legacy is quite infamous in some ways, but just like the songs are just everlasting for sure. When you decided to write this book, well, actually, I wanted to ask you a couple of things. Why did you decide now to write the book? And why come up with this whole concept of earning your 15 minutes, being behind the stage for so long and really crafting people's careers the way you have over the years?
Well, I'm still active in the industry, so I felt that it was premature to do a memoir, the regular memoir. I figure I'll do that when I go out to pasture for real. I'm hoping that that won't come anytime soon. I don't really have any vision of retiring. So the idea was to try to come up with a concept where I could tell stories, and really share my experiences, and they were all correlated, or they were, just opposed against fame. Because I think a lot of people, when you think of celebrity, you think of fame. And I think there's a lot of misnomers about what fame is, how you get it, what does it mean to your career. When you make that leap from anonymity to wanting to be successful. One of the tenets in my book is I say, don't obsess with fame, obsess about being the best that you can be. And also that fame and success don't come with a warranty. So I think some of those lessons are lessons that I learned, being able to be a trusted confidant of the clients, many of the people that you named, and watching and understanding their path. And there's not one path to fame or success, and you really have to find a relationship, develop a vision with all these people that I worked with, where we shared and collaborated on how do we help you earn? How do I help them earn their quote unquote 15 minutes? And I don't know anyone of all of them. They all suffered failures, and they all had to endure setbacks in the career where they weren't as famous as they once were. And so the question is, what do you do when you aren't as relevant as you once were to kind of regain your foothold in the business? And so that it's part of that exploration that I think artists and managers do together to craft and try to build a sustainable career that, again, is based on success. I never talked about fame with any of my clients. We never even, I can't remember a conversation where we said, what do we need to do to make you famous? We don't, it's not a word. It's a word that the public likes to hear.
It's an intangible, right?
Talk about it, but it's not something that can, behind the scenes that we discuss.
Yeah, Ramon, I have to imagine when you're dealing with a client, let's say Richard Pryor, right? When things are going great, that's got to be the easiest day at work, for you. When those clients like a Pryor or a Rick James, when they start heading down that self-destructive path, right? What starts rolling through your mind? And we got to get the group together here and rev up something to get this person, number one, the public's view of that person back to a positive level. I got to assume that you just wake up and if you're Richard Pryor is whatever, running down the street because he lit himself on fire from a crack pipe or whatever it was, you got to be like, oh, Jesus Louise, man, I got to get to work here today.
Well, the thing is, most of the time, these things, you can't prepare for them. So they come really, they're unpredictable. Those two people that you named are very unpredictable. So there's no way to prepare to know what you're going to have to deal with. In fact, with Richard, a lot of times, one of the things with him, he'd call me at 3 o'clock in the morning. And this is before social media or whatever. And you know, he would crisis would fall in my lap at 3 a.m, and then I'd have to plan really what the next day, because there was nothing I could do at 3 a.m. So I said, Richard, calm down. Let's, you know, let me think about it. I have to make a few calls, and then I'll come back with you with a plan, a strategy for the next day and how we're going to deal with this. Like one time he canceled a big gala that for the Brotherhood Crusade in Los Angeles, and he was the headliner, and he wanted me to, you know, service a release to AP. And I said, I don't, you know, I need to talk to the organization first, this guy named Danny Bakewell, and we'll come up with a, you know, a solution that we think is going to be for the best for this, for the organization and also for my clients. So sometimes until you know what the collateral damage is, and you're not only trying to protect your client, but you're also trying to protect whatever that crisis is. And if it's self-inflicted or does it involve other people? You know, so that's part of all crisis management, is really to really think out the process. And again, it's spur of the moment. You don't really have an opportunity to say, okay, I'm going to plan this. And Rick and Richard were both the same way. I mean, I would just have things fall in my lap, and then I just would try to, you know, respond the best way that I could for what I thought was
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you were doing crisis management before there were crisis management teams and a name for this whole sector and like kind of this whole thing that was happening.
It's a new term. It's not like Scandal, I can tell you that. The TV show, that's total, you know, that's creative license to create, you know, a series, but it's not how it really works.
Can I ask you a question? What has changed? I mean, you were crafting some of the greats in the early 80s, 90s, 2000s. I mean, the world has changed so much, I feel like, since the onset of social media, since sort of the digital phenomena of 2008, 2010 to where we are in 2022. These icons that you have represented, and they are all icons with huge staying power. How does that translate to this new generation of 15 minutes of fame?
Well, the difference today, one is social media is like you mentioned, it's only 12 years old. So it's like a preteen. And when you really think about that, we're all being subjugated to a format that's only been around for 12 years. Like, how much direction would you take from a preteen? And that's really what we're looking at, you know, in terms of
I never thought of it like that. I never thought of it like that.
Television was invented in the 1930s, but it didn't really get mass appeal until the 50s. Radio and print was around in the 1800s. So, you know, we have much better understanding of how to use those mediums and how they influence our lives than we do social media. The other thing that I learned in researching for my book is really about only a mathematician by the name of Samuel Armson came up with a formula to try to estimate how many famous people there are in the world. And he, using a formula, out of the 7 billion people, he came up with 0.0068% of people in the world, of over 7 billion people in the world, are famous. Social media, only 1% of all the people on social media, which, as you know, the numbers are astronomical. Only 1% of those people are considered famous, or they have over 1 million influencers, or they make over $1 million. And all of those people,
1% of that.
Pardon?
1% of the total
1%, that's it, only 1%. And the percentage of those people, a majority of them were already famous before social media started. Like The Rock is considered the most famous person on the planet. He was famous before social media started. And those are the people that fueled social media and helped it to, you know, reach the masses. And so that's that percentage. So you're thinking of the rest of us, or we're anonymous, really, when you think of it in, you know, terms.
Yeah.
And so that's the in terms of the changes, it's the fact that social media has given people a voice where they feel they have more potential to get their 15 minutes, when in reality, it's still a very small group of people that ever really become famous, or what I say, 15 minutes of fame was really done as a lark, and it was created through a conversation that with Andy Warhol had with a photographer in Sweden, and they were being filmed. They were taping an interview, and it was being viewed by an audience, in a museum in Sweden. And the photographer and him had a conversation. Yeah, everybody wants to be famous. And then Andy Warhol said, yeah, for 15 minutes. And that's how that he's not even totally responsible for the whole statement. But that's how it started. And I adopted that as just a mantra in terms of my own career. Do I think I could help these people, accomplish or be successful and gain 15 minutes, or are they only good for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? And every threshold of fame or success, there's something that you can leverage. There's some currency value to that you can use to move your career forward in our business. And that's what my book talks about. It's not like if there was a formula for becoming successful and famous, like you could take a vitamin and you eat 3 meals a day and you exercise, and I guarantee you'll be famous in 3 weeks. I probably would be trying to sell that.
Yeah.
There is no such thing, and every one of my clients, again, took a different path. And I think the convergence or the fusion of the art form, whatever it is, music, film, television, with commercial viability, if you merge those two things together and you have a team behind you that understand the strategic, way to roll out projects and take advantage of the media that's available, they understand brand identity and creating awareness, then you have an opportunity for, quote, sustainable success. And I don't know anyone that I've ever worked with who became famous who wasn't successful first.
Right. And it's funny, Ramon, because even with this show, we have a lot of folks, we have a lot of nostalgic guests on the show who really have been able to, the folks who were big in the 70s, 80s, 90s, because of social media, they've also been able to reinvent themselves. And whenever someone, a Melissa Manchester, for example, she was putting out new music right on her Instagram page. And, these people, that the younger generation starting to know who these people are. Real quick, I just wanted to ask you, because like I said, I was, going through your Facebook pictures. It's like, oh, wow, look at this one. Look at this one. What was your relationship like with this guy right here?
Well, Emily is probably my biggest hero in the business. I just love the guy. I admired him before I met him.
Right.
And that's one of the things that's been very fortunate with me. I've actually worked with people that I admire, respect, and knew about before I got a chance to work with them. But Ali, I got to work with him on probably the most fun project ever. He had a photographer by the name of Howard Bingham. It was his personal photographer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, once he became a fighter, him and Howard they were like brothers. He took Howard everywhere around the world with him and whatever. And Howard ran for assemblywoman, an assembly position in Los Angeles. And he came to me and he said, "Hey, Ramon, Ali has agreed to do something for me to help me, win this election. And I don't know what to do. And I want you to help me formulate something." So we came up with this idea of doing an exhibition fight, and we did it at the old Olympic Auditorium downtown in LA. And Ali agreed to do exhibition, like 3 rounds with Richard Pryor, Marvin Gaye, Sammy Davis Jr., and Burt Young, who had just been in Rocky. And that the whole experience. I mean, Ali, he even wrote a poem for Howard Bingham. He lost the election, but that event was one of the most fun events I ever worked on. And from that time on, I got a chance to work with him on a couple of other projects. I've been to his house. I represented a guy named Matthew Saad Mohammed, and I also represented a company called Sassoon Jeans, and they were at one time big. Yeah, remember Sassoon Jeans?
Sure.
So they were big boxing promoters. They got they made the robes and the shorts and all that stuff, and they sponsored boxing. So Ali used to come to every party that I asked him to come to, and he used to joke. He says, "You're one of those pretty boys." I said, "Me? I'm a pretty boy. What about you? You're the one that's always talking about being pretty." So we had a friendship, and I just really appreciate the time that I got to spend with him personally. I just really admired him, and he's just a bigger than life person in real life too. I mean, he's just he was a very caring individual, and a great humanitarian. So
Ramon, I got to agree. You were a very handsome man back in those days. Not that you're not now,
Sharp
but
dresser.
you were a very handsome gentleman back then.
Well,
Look
thank
at
you. But I mean, Ali, I mean, you know, that guy's just, he's a giant of a man. You know, I just adore him.
I wanted to ask you, of course, we got to talk about Vanessa for a second. We love her. She's been with us on Pix 11. She's been on this show. You know, everybody remembers, and I grabbed the picture. So that day when she was in you guys were doing that press conference, that's you standing next to her when she was resigning her Miss America, right? Her Miss America title.
Yes.
And then you guys actually, I guess you guys formed a relationship out of your working relationship. You end up getting married. How does that come to pass?
Because she was on me.
You look at Vanessa Williams. I mean, come on.
She was in Ramon. She was chasing you, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was on me like Afro Sheen, and I couldn't resist, you know. So she beat me up. You know, I used to be like 6'4", and then after I met her, I shrunk like 3 inches. And but no, Vanessa, that's a great. She's been a really. I mean, she's the mother of my children. We had a beautiful relationship, both business. We had enjoyed a lot of success together.
Yeah, and even now, I noticed
3 beautiful kids. I'm a grandfather now, so I have a grandson that we, you know, coddle and share together. And yeah, she's been one of the best parts of my life, I got to say. And I met her under the weirdest, you know, circumstances, but yeah, we did end up carving a relationship out of that started, you know, I was given the task of, I was given 72, you ask about, you know, planning and dealing with a crisis. In that particular situation, I was tasked with trying to come up with a solution on how she would respond to Miss America asking her to resign. They didn't tell her she had to resign. They requested that she resign, which history has not accorded her that. She wasn't forced to resign. She had an option. And my plan was to, when I actually agreed to work with her, I didn't even know what her decision was going to I just set up the press conference from LA that was happening in New York at the Sheraton the Sheraton Hotel on 7th Avenue. For 11 o'clock on a Monday, which was the end of the exact ending of the 72 days that Albert Marx gave her. And then I worked over the course. I took a red eye into New York, and I arrived at 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning, and I met her for the first time at around 8 o'clock. And then for the next 72 hours, I worked on crafting a statement in her voice that she ended up reading at that historical press conference. And that was really when I didn't know until the very last minute on the morning of the press conference what her ultimate decision was going to be.
Wow. And it was, I'll tell you, I watched the video of it and like the press with the photographers, everybody was crazy.
It was mayhem.
And you're like, everybody sit down so we get this thing, go sit down. And you would, I mean, the scuffle that was going on there, you would think the president was about to announce that we're going into World War III. It was just insane.
It was a different time. It was a different time. It was a different
She was Miss New York, and even from LA, I had no idea what I had gotten myself into, to be honest. It was much bigger than I realized. When I arrived, her parents lived in a small town called Millwood in Westchester County. And when I arrived at her house that morning, that Saturday morning, there was an encampment of media of probably about 400.
Wow.
That were outside in front of her house, across the street. There was at least 7 or 8 trucks, you know, TV trucks. It was like bedlam in a zoo. I just couldn't believe it. I said, wow, this is much bigger than I realized. And then that echoed and ended up being in that press conference. I've dealt with many, many press conferences in the course of my career. That still is bar none the craziest one I ever was involved with.
Oh my God, it's great. Well, listen, the book is The Fame Game, an insider's playbook for earning your 15 minutes. Great, just in time for the holidays.
We have to ask him the question of all questions, which was about Kanye, right? We were talking about.
Oh yeah, with Kanye.
I mean, we don't want to put you on the spot, but you're somebody who has been in the war room and creating, you know, a situation, taking a bad situation and making it tangible for the rest of us. Why isn't anybody stepping into this whole Kanye mess with Adidas and
because I think that Kanye is his own worst enemy. you know, and he reminds me a lot of Rick James to some degree, who was self-destructive, and even Richard Pryor. I mean, these are really, really talented. I mean, Richard Pryor is considered, you know, the GOAT in comedy. You know, Rick James is not considered the GOAT in any area, but he was a very, very successful artist for a short window, and they self-destruct. And I think that a lot of people think that people like me, as a manager or publicist, that we can somehow cure personal ailments that they suffer from, you know, and that are addictive. And he has, you know, as you echoed earlier in your intro, he does have mental health issues that have been reported on. His mother was dealing with it. So, you know, the best thing that I would do, what I would tell Kanye, is to shut up and just go away. Just, you know, stop communicating and try to get yourself together. And maybe people will look at you in a different way when you have a chance to look at yourself from a different perspective. He's way in over what he's able to handle. And I don't think there isn't a solution that's going to make people look at him differently in the short term.
Yeah,
you know, the anti-Semitic things that he just, I mean, those are things that are going to, that's going to shadow him for the rest of his life.
And he's just,
these are things that he just is not capable of understanding. The collateral damage that he's creating, that he'll never be able to escape. So the only thing that he can do is go away, be quiet, and try to resurrect a different image of himself, much the same way that Will Smith is having to deal based on what he dealt with by slapping someone, another famous person, on the biggest possible television show in America.
I mean, and you haven't heard from Will Smith at all, though his wife has spoken a couple of times, you know, in regards to.
Well, actually, to me, I think he's made mistakes too. He's apologized like 8 times. You only apologize once, and then you go and live your life, and you wait. So he's made more mistakes than he's made corrections, but I think he's finally at the point where he's you know, taking a back seat and is allowing people to get over. You can't get over a crisis unless you let it, you know, people need time to heal.
Yeah.
And if you're feeding social media every day with new information, you're only exasperating the problem and making it worse.
Oh yeah, and nowadays, you know, social media has a life of its own, and everybody has a platform, and clips and changes and GIFs, and you know, people edit stuff and, you know, make things funny, and it's just crazy what happens now that wasn't happening in the 80s and 90s, like you were saying.
Well, it's visceral. So once people see you actually make your own mistakes, it's very difficult to spin that. There's no spin doctor that can take words out of your mouth and reshape them so they sound like something else. So that's the biggest difference that social media has made. And that's where we are as a society, where we're looking and seeing things happen in real time, and we shape our opinions based on seeing the actual mistakes happen. And that's a big difference than back in the 90s when you didn't know for sure. And then that fuels the news cycle, like you said, 24/7. And it just more information keeps being. So these stories have a life of their own.
And forgiveness is very hard to come by these days. It seems like, you know, forgiveness is just something that is not on everybody's menu, unfortunately.
Yes.
Ramon, listen, before you go, I want to put you and Suki to a little test. I want to see how good your celebrity eye really is these days.
Better.
What I'm going to do, Ramon, is I've taken 6 celebrities and I've grabbed pictures of them when they were very young. And I want to see if you and Suki can collaborate together to figure out what celebrity of today that young picture is of. Are you ready to roll?
Oh,
Let's give it
a shot.
Let's give it a whirl. So, for example, if I gave you this picture right here, who is? You could see the face. You could see the celebrity face right in that picture.
You can?
Absolutely, 100%. Who is that? Come on, guys. Look at her face. Look at her face. Ramon, any guesses?
Taylor Swift.
No, not Taylor Swift. Sue, quick guess.
The lady from that cut off the legs of her husband in that movie.
You're a sick individual, Suki. It's Kelly Ripa.
Who was I thinking
Now
of?
look, isn't that let's see, it's Kelly Ripa, right?
Kinda, I guess. I mean,
All right,
yeah.
here's another one. One more. A couple more. Here we go. How
I
about
would
this?
never get that.
Who's this young lady right here?
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears is the correct answer, Suki. Britney Spears.
That was good.
Thanks, Ramon.
Congratulations. I would have missed that.
Ramon, tell me who this young lady is. She basically looks the same today.
Oh, wow. No idea.
That's Jennifer, the other Jennifer, not J-Lo, Jennifer
Garner, Suki.
There you
Very
go,
nicely
Jennifer Garner.
done. Nicely
wow.
done.
Those glasses give it away.
When you go back, you can see it, right?
Jennifer, I
The other
apologize,
Jennifer.
Miss Garner. That's very, very rude of me to say that.
All right, a couple more to go. How about this young lady? Look at the face.
Kathy Griffin.
Kathy Griffin. Suki, you're just flowing along right here.
That was a good one. I saw her. Yeah.
All right, this one's for Ramon only. Suki, you're too good at this. Ramon, what do you like? Who's that? Famous actress.
Tom Hanks' ex-wife.
Oh yeah.
Are you thinking of Tom Cruise's ex-wife?
Yeah.
That would be correct, sir.
Hey, finally got one.
And then here's
Good one, Ramon.
And then here's the last one right here. Look at the kid's face. He's a big country star today.
Country star.
Country star.
That's a hint.
Dwight Yoakam?
No, Dwight Yoakam is not the right answer. The picture before would be a clue.
Luke.
Oh, her husband. Her current husband.
Her husband is
God,
the correct
yes.
answer. Yes.
Toby
Keith Urban. Or Keith Urban, Sue.
I know my country singers like this.
Toby Keith.
All these people change their hair color. You notice that?
Ramona, it's a pleasure.
They got famous, they change their hair color. That's why it's so tough.
The Fame Game, an insider's playbook for earning your 15 minutes. You got to go out, get this book. Holidays are coming up. Makes a great gift. It's been out since August. And it's an irresistible, addictive, and utterly fascinating exploration of our insatiable obsession with celebrity culture. Ramon, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, and thank Sharon. You know, I nicknamed Sharon a Godette.
Oh, Sharon, yeah?
Yeah, ask her the story of how she got the name, one of the Godettes. She was one of the Godettes.
Is that from Solid Gold?
Yeah, from Solid Gold. And I nicknamed her. I said, you're a Godette. That's what I'm going to call you from now on. That was her tag name.
I love it, my man. Ramon, thank you so much. Enjoy the holidays. And listen, I know you're new in this business, so continued success.
Thank you. This was fun. Thank you so much. It was a great way to spend my lunch hour.
Thank you, bud. So appreciate you taking the time.
All right. Take care.
Take care, boss. Wow. Suki, what a career.
Gee whiz. I mean, like literally. I mean, you're crafting the careers of like Bette Midler, Richard
You know he's
Pryor.
got some good stories in there, Suk. You know he's got some good stories.
Aaliyah. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, he basically represented the biggest stars in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s.
I mean, look, when you're going through, and here he is with Natalie Cole. Right? And I mean, this was when I saw this.
Lisa Bonet in the corner?
Lisa Bonet. Lisa Bonet would have been
with the cross right there?
Too young, Lisa Bonet. But then you got Sugar Ray Leonard and Rick James. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
But and I even Jimmy Carter. Here he is with Jimmy Carter.
Meeting presidents.
And Lou Brock. Remember Lou Brock?
Yeah.
Just amazing. And then here these are the folks from one of the agencies and Lou Brock, and just some incredible stuff. Really, really wild. Let me get back to this. Suk, normally that would have been enough for one show.
I feel like that was a huge show that we had.
That was a huge show, Suki, and that's why we have billboards flowing in Times Square. That's why you and I are high above Forever 21 in Times Square. Anyway, listen, we roll on because I promised you a great musical guest today also, didn't I?
Yes, Toby Keith.
Toby Keith will be joining us. Red Solo Cup. I fill you up. Let's have a party. Suk Presley Tennant was on The Voice. She is a whopping 20 years old. She's already more successful than you and I will ever be.
At 20, yeah.
At 20. Because really, you know,
we are 20.
When I was Suki, when I was 20 years old, what was I doing? I was hanging out with Playboy bunnies. That's what I was doing when I was a little kid. But anyway, Presley is on. She's she was amazing on The Voice. It's funny because I saw her when she was a little kid auditioning for this talent show, and she was singing Kelly Clarkson song, and then years later, she's actually singing with Kelly Clarkson on the stage. Wow. So it was really very cool. So she's got some new music out. She's got a new song out called "Break My Heart." Hopefully she'll play a little bit of that for us in a little bit. But here she is. Let me show you a little bit of Presley. We'll bring her on the other side. Take a look.
Some say it's a dangerous game. What a shame if I didn't play. If you play your cards and I'll roll my dice, I'm all in if I'm yours tonight. Don't be a joker or play me for a fool. Come on, baby, show me your next move. I'll be the queen to your king since you asked me to, but don't for now, 'cause I'm taking a gamble on you.
There she is. There
Presley's
she
so
is.
talented, so talented.
Thank you so much. I'm
Presley-
sorry I'm not Toby Keith.
Did you see that picture of who?
Keith
What was
Urban,
his
Sue.
name?
Keith Urban. Here he is.
I said
I
it was
love
Toby Keith, and Toby Keith is like 6'6" or something. He's like a really tall man, and I don't know.
Presley, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Can I make an assumption without even knowing, but did your parents name you after Elvis?
Okay, so that would be a lot cooler of a story.
That's not Elvis?
I should honestly say that that's the story.
Okay.
But my parents, they wanted a boy. Well, kind of.
Well, didn't we all?
They liked the name Preston for a boy. And they found out I was a girl. And so they were like, oh, Presley's kind of cool. And so,
Yeah.
But it would be a lot cooler if I was named after Elvis, especially since I do music. So,
Yeah, right.
everyone that's here, just don't say anything if I say something otherwise and somewhere else.
That is so great. And you're in California, but are you normally in Nashville?
So I am born and raised in California, and I still live here today. But I am out in Nashville, I would say about every month and a half to 2 months-ish.
Okay, so here's my question, because I was in Nashville recently.
And you don't want to know what he did.
And yeah, I may have been a little intoxicated at the time, but I feel like when I was looking at some of your videos, I feel like do you play on Broadway at all? You ever in those bars playing or no?
Yeah, so it kind of just depends. I was out there for CMA Fest, so I got to play out there at a few different places.
Were you at Kid Rock's place?
I was not performing, but I was there.
Oh, okay. Because there was a girl at Kid Rock's place who looked exactly like you, and I think they said she was on The Voice or she made it to The Voice. So I thought, oh, maybe this is you. But she was fantastic too. But
well,
okay,
I will take it. If she was good, then yeah.
No, very good, very good. But yeah, so listen, tell us about the new song, "Break My Heart." This just came out recently, right?
Yes, this just came out, and I am so excited that it's finally out there. I feel like this has been one of the ones that I've been sitting on for a while and just kind of waiting for the right moment to release it. I wrote the song out in Nashville with two incredible songwriters, and that's Nick Autry and Bobby McLam.
Okay.
And we kind of had this idea of, like, this lyric kind of came to mind, and it was, I want you to break my heart. And like, when you think of break my heart, just like as it is, you think like, oh, you're going to break my heart. Don't do that. And this song, I feel like kind of puts a little twist on it. Cause it's like, if anyone's going to do it, I want it to be this specific person.
Nice.
And you're okay with all the heartaches and the pains and the up and
the gamble.
downs.
It's the gamble.
Yeah. And so, just making sure, not even making sure, but just knowing and saying that, like, if someone's going to do it, I want it to be you. And I don't care if it's over and over again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Haven't we all been in that vicious cycle of like, let it be over and over again?
I will not say that that is healthy. So it's a figurative of speech,
Yeah.
but I feel like we've all been in those situations where you're like, if you're okay with everything, as long as it's with that person.
And then after they do it, then you could write "Unbreak My Heart."
No, I think that was Tony Braxton.
Is that written already? Oh man, I thought I just came up with something there.
Presley, tell us about your time on The Voice. What was that like? I'm a little addicted to this season's Voice. I don't know why, but I am. What was that like to be on that national stage at such a young age?
So for me, The Voice was one of the most incredible experiences I think I've ever had. Oh, and there's me looking like I'm gonna eat the microphone.
No, you look great.
But The Voice was one of the most incredible experiences. I mean, I was so young at the time.
Yeah.
And I felt like during that time in my life, I kind of was going through a little soul searching moment because I was figuring out who I was as an artist. And so I kind of really got in really deep with who I am in my artistry, and not even just my artistry, but who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And so it's like being around so many incredible musicians. I mean, the musician, like the band that plays for literally everybody.
Yeah.
And they are absolutely incredible. They just have to hear like a song one time and they have like the entire thing down. And I'm like, my mind is blown. It's like magic, I swear. As well as just being like around the contestants. It was so much fun. I remember it was like every night we'd have like a jam session in someone's room till like security comes and like knocks on the door and was like 5 hours. And I'm like, okay. And then I mean, getting to work with my idol, Kelly Clarkson, it was just so surreal getting to meet her. I mean, I've looked up to her for so long, and she was my first concert ever. And like you said, I sang her song Because of You at literally every single little talent show near my hometown. Yeah. And I don't know, she's somebody that I've always looked up to. And then when I got to meet her and then be on her team, and then she became like my friend, which is such a cool feeling. And then I got to sing with her, and it was like that, like everything that I already imagined about her, it was like that and so much more. She is just one of the most humble and genuine people I think I've ever met.
Well, hold on to that thought. Let's take you back about 10, 11 years. I think you were like 11 years old right here. And see you auditioning in like a mall somewhere. Watch this too.
That's amazing. Listen, I have a 9-year-old at home. I couldn't even imagine the confidence it took to do that. Wow.
So, Suk, imagine doing that, right? And Kelly Clarkson's your idol, and that's like the song you love and audition.
Right.
And then you fast forward to this.
How will I break the way did you feel so hard? How to learn the hard way to never let you.
I just got chills. Can I tell you? Was that like unplanned moment where you turned around and she was there? Was that like an unplanned moment, or?
So right before, she was like, "Hey, like, what song do you want to sing?" And I was like, "Oh my God, can I sing Because of You, like, with you?" And she was like, "Girl, you could sing the whole song. I don't want to do it right now." And I was like, "Well, I'm singing with you. Come on!" Like, it was one of those moments. But then, I don't know. It was just the most crazy feeling. I mean, it was my birthday that day as well. She like brought me out a birthday cake, and I was.
That was in Vegas, right? That video? Yeah. That was a live show in Vegas. I just thought that was so cool when I saw the video of you young, and then you're singing it with her. I'm like, Jesus, that's a life moment right there.
I just feel like she's effortless, right? Like you meet people in life that, like, you know, there's a lot of effort going into doing what they do or like being who they are. I feel like she just kind of is, and that's the beauty of her. Am I correct in my assumption of this?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I feel like she is just so authentic in who she is, and like she doesn't have to try to be anything because she's just Kelly Clarkson. Like you're like I know you're good, but like, and then you like do it effortlessly, and I'm like, oh my god, I have goosebumps.
Pitch perfect, yeah.
Seriously.
I know. I liked her better when she was with Justin Guarini. That was my favorite.
America was torn at that time between Justin Guarini and Kelly Clarkson. I mean, that was the first season of Idol. We were all crazy. I mean, and to see what the person she is today. I mean, I watched a Kelly Clarkson show and I love it.
And do you remember the first song they had to sing when they won? For a moment like this, some people wait a lifetime.
Why do we know all this?
Suki, we should be on that show, you and me. I think we're fantastic. Presley, listen, Break My Heart. You got your guitar with you?
I do, but I'm not gonna lie, I cannot play the guitar like that for this song.
Oh, okay. All right. So
I'll play whatever you want.
Let's play whatever you feel comfortable with the guitar, the cover. Whatever. I saw you doing a cover of something which I really liked, and now that just went out of my brain.
Let her play what she wants.
Go ahead, you play whatever you want, and then we'll sing along here on the other side.
No, don't sing.
So I'm gonna sing a little bit of this song that I wrote for my dad a couple of years ago for his birthday, just as a way to say how much I love and appreciate everything that he does for me. I'm not very good at like speaking my words out and how I feel, but I mean, I do write songs, so I was like, I can do this. And so I wrote the song called Half That Strong.
Gonna make us cry.
Yeah.
Well, light it up.
You're the footsteps that I walk in, so I know I'll get to where I wanna be. You're the shoulder that I cry, and the ones that lift me up so I can see. There's no dream I can't believe in, there's no battle that I can't win, no limit to the sky when I got you to keep me flying. Wish I could be half that strong, wish I could be half that brave, wish that I could thank you, but I just can't find the words to say. I know there's nothing I can do, and I owe it all to you. You're the solid ground I build my whole world on. Wish I could be half that strong.
Woo! God, that's beautiful.
Nice. Now you get to do. I've seen you do like national anthems and God Bless America, and you're at Staples Center doing halftime shows.
Amazing.
Does that get you? You still get the butterflies when you're out there in front of 20,000 people doing that stuff?
Honestly, I don't really get nervous. And it's really weird because I'm more of like an introverted kind of person. With my normal day-to-day life, I'm like, but when I'm on stage, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like the most free, and I'm able to kind of let all those feelings of like nerves and butterflies they just go away, and it's more like adrenaline, and I get really excited.
You're a true entertainer. That's what most entertainers say. That's their happy place. That's where they'd rather be anywhere else. So, you know, you're doing what you're meant to do.
Oh, that is an old photo.
How old were you in that shot?
Yeah, how old are you in that photo, Presley?
I think I was probably like 13 or 14.
So cute.
Thank you.
I love it. And I also read that you performed a couple times at the Bluebird Cafe.
I did.
Where and I know they're real strict in there, right? You can't really make noise. It's a songwriters type of place. It's in that little strip mall, right? Just like next to a barber shop, but it's this famous cafe. Is that when you know people are in there just coming to see you, and they could be, you know, managers and people in the business looking for that next big songwriter? Is that maybe more nerve-wracking than 15,000 at the Staples Center when it's just that little intimate setting?
Oh, 100%. I feel like the less amount of people, if you can physically see every single person,
right?
in the crowd, You can see their eyes like watching you and like talking, and you're like, what are they talking about? Like secrets like shouldn't be a thing. Like, come on, say it out loud. No, it's definitely a little nerve-wracking. But because it's after you're done, where do you go? You go and talk to them, and you're like,
right.
like, they got good things to say.
Was I okay?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Those are all the questions that run through my head, and I'm like, well, take it or leave it. This is who I am. So.
Yeah, you're kind of right, because when you're in a stadium like that, and I've had the pleasure of being able to do that, and you're just, it's just a mesh of people. I think I've told Suki, I would get a little nervous going to talk to my young daughter's class, when there's 7 kids in there, than 20,000 people in a stadium. I'm like, well, man, I got to go talk to these kids. I don't want to talk to these kids.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, it's, and you obviously started very young. What was it, early on that got you into music? As it's more than anything else.
So 7-year-old me really loved to do karaoke.
Nice.
It was always Pat Benatar's Heartbreaker.
Really?
Breakaway. And so like Taco Tuesday at like the local Mexican restaurant by us, I was always singing. And it got to the point where my mom was like, hey, like you should take some vocal lessons, like make sure you aren't going to ruin the karaoke voice.
I love Mom.
I like searched her up. I found this lady who would come to my house. And so I called her and I was like, hey, I want to take vocal lessons. Call my mom back. She called my mom back the next day. I was like, do you know about this? Like your daughter is trying to invite strangers into her home. And I was like, yeah, she told me to do it. So, and then it just kind of started from there. I took singing a little bit more seriously. And then I started doing little competitions near my hometown. And I ended up in a girl group from that. And it was called the 5 LPs, or the 5 Little Princesses. So we were all ages 10 to 13 wearing bright pink tutus, sparkly Converse that went all the way up to your knees. It was really fun. It was like we were a Christian pop girl group.
Cute.
And so it was like, I don't know, it was just hanging out with like my best friends every day and
doing what you love.
Exactly.
I need to hear a little Heartbreaker now, right? Maybe even a cappella. Do you do it on a guitar or no?
I don't know if I can play it on.
Try it out. Yeah, let's give it a whirl.
I can do it a cappella. I got to pull up the chords.
Okay.
Come on.
Breaking little hearts like the one in me.
Wait, is that the wrong? I don't think that's the right one.
That's hit me with your best shot.
That's
sorry. Heartbreaker goes, you're a heartbreaker.
Dream maker.
Love taker. Won't you mess around with me?
But how does it start? You guys remember how it starts? There it is.
All
right. You'll do it much
better. Try to do it.
Go ahead.
Probably not going to be good. My nails, I messed up.
Yeah, sure it won't. It won't be good. Yeah.
I love you.
Thinking about what I have. So that's really fun.
Your love is like a tidal wave spinning over my head, drowning me in your promises, better left unsaid. You're the right kind of sinner to release my inner fantasy, the invincible winner, 'cause you know that you were born to be. You're a heartbreaker, dream maker, love taker, don't you mess around with me. You're a heartbreaker, dream maker, love taker, don't you mess around.
No. That was amazing.
I'm not playing that song since I was probably 7, so that was.
You got to get back into that karaoke bar.
Pat Benatar was one of my most favorite singers in the world.
Yeah. What's your favorite Pat Benatar song?
Heartbreaker is one of them, definitely.
I always loved was it Hell is for Children.
Hell is for Children. That's a good one.
Hell is for Children.
There's so many songs. So many. I actually saw her, and her voice is pristine. She studied opera, Presley.
Oh, I did not know that.
She studied opera. Yeah.
Presley, you better start studying some opera. What's coming up for you? What do you got coming up? I know you have this great new song out, "Break My Heart," which everybody can download and wherever your music is sold, right? Spotify and Apple Music and all that good stuff.
Wherever you can think of on all streaming platforms, it's there.
Awesome.
What's going on? What's coming up? Are you doing any tours? Are you going to be appearing anywhere?
Yeah, so I have a couple shows that are in the works right now, but the ones I can say, I am going to be playing down in Manhattan Beach on November 25th.
Nice.
So the day after Thanksgiving. And then on New Year's Eve, I'll be playing down at Beer Garden in Huntington Beach. And I'm very, very excited for that one. And then I have a few projects that I'm working on that I can't say too much about yet. But once I can, it'll all
give us a little.
Come back, and tell us all the good news, okay?
It'll all be on my social media when I can announce it.
Beautiful, Presley.
Keep us posted, Presley.
Where can people find you on social?
You can find me on all my social media, which is at Presley Tennant. So PresleyTennant. Or you can go to my website, which is presleytennant.com, and everything is linked there.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you didn't hit 21 yet?
Not yet. Next year.
Young chickadee. She's sweetheart. Parents should be so proud.
She'll be. I'm sure she hasn't ever taken a drink in her life, and she'll be able to do that when she's 21.
No, because she's not from New York.
That's
she's
true.
not from like
our
crazy
area
towns that we are from.
It's beautiful, Presley. Thank you so much. Listen, keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna be huge. And
I have a funny feeling, Presley. This is
yeah.
Don't
forget us, okay? When you're on the stage, you got the award. You mention us a little bit.
You got it,
Presley. Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Say hello to your parents.
I will.
Good luck.
Bye bye. Suki, she's so talented.
She's so talented. It's exactly correct. And you know what? When you see somebody like that that's been crafting since the young age, shades of high Taylor Swift, you know what I mean? Shades of, all of these young, talents that are out there, Selena Gomez. I mean, you name it, they're all there. And they're all doing their thing.
I got the chills too when she was singing with Kelly Clarkson. I felt a little chill.
I did. And I feel like if you have like a fairy godmother, like Kelly Clarkson on your side, things can happen.
Oh my goodness. Well, Suk, listen.
And you'll say you saw it right here on the Suki and Scott show.
Right here on the Suki and Scott show, flying high above Times Square, my friends. Suk, listen, we did it again. We fooled them again, and we'll be back another time. Listen, everybody, we love you.
We love you.
Share the show. Our success depends on you folks. So just share the show with your friends. And we'll put this again on tonight at 7:30 if you had to work today and you couldn't see it. Suk, I love you. We'll talk later on.
Bye-bye,
Take
darling.
care, everybody.
Suki and Scott show. We are feeling good today.
Multi-Emmy Award-winning co-hosts Sukanya Krishnan and Scott Stanford captivate viewers with their infectious personalities.
Everybody go hotel, motel. What you gonna do today?
Say what?
And unmatched chemistry.
An Irish accent.
Suki, this is a Belgian accent. Don't you know your Belgian accent?
I do not. My clock is ticking. It's not like ticking like tick. It's ticking like this.
It's like, woo, it's getting cold in here.
Suki and Scott are hanging out with celebrities.
That's the best intro for a show I maybe have ever seen.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
You guys are talented amongst your own selves.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
We'll be right back.
Elite comedians.
Suki and Scott and Wayne. Got a big heart, Scott.
And entertainers from all four corners of the world. Suki and Scott share moments that make you think.
I just ate 2 grapefruits, and nothing sexual about what happened here, I gotta tell you.
Uplifting stories that inspire.
No matter how hard life gets or what you go through, you can always make it through.
And they'll make you smile.
Humpback.
Now more than ever, the world needs laughter.
You just slip out the back, Jack.
I don't know. It would be so fun to see your face at my door.
Suki and Scott are ready. Let's laugh together. The Suki and Scott Show.
Where happiness lives.
Do I give a thumbs up?
Go.
This song is my most recent single called Better Than That.
Better than that. Here we go. I'm going to hang with Audrey right here.
All right. I think she likes this song. Here you are, 2 a.m., knock, knock on my door again. You want to talk about her?
It's
like we were scared to death, like a couple of kids just trying to save each other. Should have seen it in color.
To melt the mountains in the hills, I'll keep trying on that will.
Listen, man, Rescue Me getting some great acclaim. Here's Us Magazine. Country artist Louis Bello teams up with Jason Tucker. A lot of people talking about it. We played it right before you came on. You want to sing a little bit of it?
Sure, yeah. I'll sing a little bit. Let me staring at these walls tonight, wrap my head around what's wrong or right, trying to make sense of it all.
What if you get bored? What if we grow old and you don't look at me the same? I say, babe, listen up, 'cause it's you and me, love ain't the kind that ever fades.